everyone. And I welcome you all, and my sincere apologies for a delay or due to a technical glitch. I was live for 8 minutes, and I was told people are unable to hear me. To check the and hear me, and now we are going forward with the session. So the first point, that we were discussing was about, the Rocket Singh, who is Rocket Singh, and how, that the entire movie was scripted in a way. First, we need to, if you have seen this movie, a lot of learnings are there from this movie that you can, you can see. He has an integrity. He is loyal towards his work. He is a dedicated employee. He wants to have a lot of learnings that corruption that we had due to technology all in today's session. So the first thing that we in sales, money is nothing. Money every time, lot of other things which happen, and money is one of the several variables of does, right? So in order to see or use where the money is required, if money communication was more important, right? Great. So the next learning that we have learned from this movie is the right attitude, right? We need to have a right attitude. If he has also not only sales but also the customer service. People do look for sales, but people do look for customer service also. So if we say our job is done of sales, it is not yet done. After sales services are very important. People look for after sales services. Like, you you need to thrust in your degrees, because if you do not have the right aptitude, and what will the marks will do? Marks kya karenge? You won't be doing anything, right? If you can be a topper in the university and the greatest number of crunches on the planet of the earth, but may not be a great salesman or an influencer or a persuader or a negotiator. And in negotiation, we always say, if you win, I lose, that is not negotiation. If I win, you lose, that is not negotiation. Negotiation is always to have to be a win-win situation, right? That means you win, I win. And to be a great salesman, that is all which is required to become a great salesman. The attitude, the attitude or the attitude beyond and obvious is the most important thing, because during the movie, for them, for AYS services, for them sales were the most important things. So the MD used to say, focus on sales को focus करो, बाकी सर्विस दो. बाकी सर्विस कैसे हो जाएगी, जब कोई करने वाला ही नहीं है. If there won't be anybody who will be there to do that particular service, sales has to happen with the service, the post service of that particular thing. All right. So next thing that we learn from that movie is, once that that person have formed that Rockets in corporation, right? So what he does is he meets the different companies. There is one scene which says he meets with the manager of DHL, wherein he is promising his services, and he says, tum kar paoge? Now he says commitment is our word. Now if you have committed that within 10 days you will get all the systems, and you will have or a national festival. So it was its commitment. Within 10 days of the commitment, the office, the person who have given order got the shipment, the consignment. So that was the power of commitment. Distributing others is the prerequisite of a salesperson. Now, what is doing? He was asking about the prerequisite to become a great salesperson. However, if you are hesitant to break the ice, the first thing you need to learn is how to break the ice. Now, to break the ice, you need to communicate. You need to understand. You need to do a conversation and ask for help and guidance. and engage people for discussion. So if you do not have people for discussion, if you remember from that movie wherein he was allotted a desk which is at the end, which nobody used to have an access to, very wherein nobody used to speak with him, nobody used to communicate with him, except one person who used to sit next to him. He was into service because he was not having much of a time, and he was used to sit next to him. That was the only way. And due to certain calls they used to receive and they used to communicate, and that's how the entire story of the communication starts. Because until and unless you don't communicate, the ice will never break. So you need to approach somebody so that you can approach and probably say, I need your help. Can I have your support? So by approaching, by communicating, by starting a conversation, you tend to break that ice. And once the ice is break, you can go ahead and reach the result that you expected to have into it. Now, there is one very good quality that we learn from this movie is honesty and integrity, because this is one thing which I love the most. Because uh, you know it's gander, wherein if it's good for you, it cannot be bad for others. Now he was constantly, after that incident wherein he did a complaint in the complaint box, he was given task to sit in the office and call. So what he was doing is he was constantly calling the clients for the sales request and the sales calls, and accordingly he was pursuing them. So don't expect honesty from salespeople in the organization. If you are encouraged, encourage them to become the kickbackers and bribers with the client. So that is something which is not there. So what you do is, at times people do is they give kickbacks, they do bribe them. That is not what sales is all about. You need to encourage everything to be to ensure that the organization culture is set, and organization is known by its culture. And so as to ensure the culture is good, automatically sales will happen, because the name of that organization in the market is such a value that automatically people will be inclined to buy services from you, and accordingly the salesman will be able to sell. And it's not only about selling certain things, it's about maintaining a good relationship also. To ensure we maintain a good relationship, that also a part and parcel of salesman. Or we talk about business development. Talk about business development. Having a good business development, to be a good business development person, is to ensure you are able to communicate well, you are able to break the ice, you are able to understand the requirement of the person, you are able to see the quality, or you are able to see a commitment into that particular work, whether you will be able to perform it well or not. Because a half-hearted yes, it's better than saying no, because neither you will be able to work nor you will be able to deliver the commitment. All right. So the next learning that we learn from that movie is on the customer service, which is very important, because no sales is complete without customer service. Now, if you buy an AC, the next thing that you see is what is the post sales service, wherein the post sales service is you call the customer care and you expect the person to come from the AC company to service your AC. However, if company is not responding and the person is not coming to service or AC, that means it's a breach of the commitment, or it's a breach of the trust that you have shown, towards the company. So, what exactly customer service do? Customer service do, makes organization outsmart in the competition, because that's what exactly they said. 24/7, we will be supporting you. All 365 days we'll be supporting you. Either on a holiday or on a festival, we will be supporting you. That's our commitment. That's they give in writing, and that is what they were known for. Because a delighted and a satisfied customer are your ambassadors. They are your ambassadors. They are your advocates. They will advocate for you. They will promote for you, and their referral can generate you more business than you can handle. Because word of mouth is something that you say. If I have to ask a person that if I want to buy network connection or a broadband connection, which company do you suggest should we buy? So if he says, for example, you should buy an X company, so I would rely on his reference or his word, because he has been using that company for that particular time. So the service has to be commendable. The sales will automatically happen. If I am, using, let's say for that broadband, I say probably, Vodafone is also good, Jio is also good. So why you were saying Airtel? Because that person is using Airtel for a long time. It's not only about the pre-sales; it's also about the post-sales. That also matters. So if the post-sales is good, then automatically the pre-sales will the other sales, other part of the sales will automatically happen. Okay. So the next learning that we learn from this movie is, on entrepreneurship, wherein we talk about making people partners in business, and we talk about there will be no more in pain. So if you have, thought for an instance, if you think, if a person can do everything, in your company, one person can run the entire show. That is not possible. That can happen. You need to have a person dedicated. What he did, customer service, he chooses the receptionist. For maintenance and everything, he chooses his counterpart. For assembling, he chose the peon. And for sales, he chooses the manager. And in the end, if you see the movie, for finances, he chooses his grandfather to become the finance head, and he was the one who used to look after all the finances. So by dividing works, by making partners, you are, dividing the work, and everyone is accountable for the work they are supposed to have, the work they are supposed to do, and accordingly, everyone is able to give their 100% in the work, and everybody is accountable for their own department too. And once you see, if there is a support which is required, or if there is something, a need which is required, the other person who has time can go and support him. So everyone has a dedicated function to look after, and they can give accordingly. They can give 100% of their commitment to that particular work. Now, uh, there was an instance in the movie wherein, we got to understand the value of zero. Now, if you remember, when this complaint box incident है लंच करने के तो जीरो है, बट इसकी वैल्यू नहीं पता. A person has to know his value. A person has to know what is the value of zero. If you apply zero before a digit, it is nothing. However, as many times you add zero beyond a digit, it increases its value. Right? So zero is a magical character. It can multiply the value of any number if placed rightly. The lowest person in the organization hierarchy can do wonders if he or she puts the right place. Now, if I know if a person has been put in a right place, he can do wonders. You can do wonders. But for a person who's supposed to do an X job, but when asked to do a Y job, will he or she will be able to perform? No, because the point is, the person has an exposure, has an expertise in an X task. How can you expect the person to work on a Y task? So that is important. You expect, and you do the right things at the right time, the person's competencies and talent with the job description, which is critical for success and organization. So a person which has been hired for a particular thing should be doing that task to ensure we get maximum utilization and maximum productivity, vis-a-vis giving him or her a situation or a task which he or she doesn't have a competency in attending it. All right. So the next learning that we learn from the movie, which is an exciting point, we say, it is basically on inherit the quality and rise and fall. Everyone is born with the potential, vice and virtue. Vice and virtue. Sorry. So every employee has both the qualities, the quality of rising and the quality of falling. in a career. So which quality is dominant, or which quality determines your destiny? Certain attitude will put into the gravitational pull on your, while you make the sky is the beginning time. You say sky is the limit because you need to grow. Now everyone has the right attitude. Now if you can know that if you will rise, one day you may fall. So if you fall, you should have the capacity to understand and to get a grip, or to get an understanding. If you'll fall, you have to rise up again. So if you fall, that is not the end of the story. You have to rise up again. So if sun in the evening goes down, he also comes back next day in the morning. Because if it has risen, it will fall. If it has fallen, it will rise again. All right. Apologies. So then next thing, there is a dialogue, he takes, risk to Spider-Man bhi leta hai. So the risk-taking, abilities are the one of the most important thing in any business. Comfort zone and playing with the risk is different. There is no difference. You need to, the more sweat, the better the gain. So it's there. Risk is everywhere. The higher the risk, the more are the returns that everyone is anticipating for. Let's say if you talk about loyal teams, how does Rocket Sales Corporation got built? So even the guy was there. He first he spoke with the service point. So how much services computer that he could arrange. He went to a market and he took a loan from a shopkeeper. And he built a trust, and based on the credit, he returned money of the components he have bought from that particular shop merchant, and all on the partner sales corporation. If somebody you give trust, you're valuing them. Once you give them the value, you give them the respect, you trust them. They also have the responsibility of fulfilling that trust, and accordingly fulfilling their role of the part of the job that they have been hired for, or they have been partnered for, right? So the next learning is about capturing intelligence. Now, how to do is to gather the intelligence. If a salesperson cannot read the paper, in reverse, he is blind. That's the same. Now, if you remember, both the manager and the sales guy, the Singh Saab, went to a office and he read a quotation submitted by the other company, which has been submitted to them. So what they did, they read it in reverse and they got to know what is the quotation submitted. So as a competition, we all know if a quotation needs to be submitted, it has to be less than the competitors. Then automatically you'll get the orders and things will be done. So every salesman needs to keep his eyes and ears open, to scan the information regarding the prospect, the competition, and the market influencers. In the game of business, the right information at the right time gives you the unfair advantage, because if you see the sales manager was able to see the figure, so immediately he switched the number and he said, सर हम तो इसको इसमें 7 लाख में कर देंगे. So he said, okay, I am giving you order of 50 computers right away. So that's how is the power of keeping your active. So be the corporate Sherlock Holmes. So that is what it is required to ensure that we keep our eyes and ears open. So these were certain learnings, I believe, which motivates us all, and which will give you motivation to become a good salesperson. And I'm sure if we look after these learnings that we have learned, this will help us in giving good learning, and I would say motivation to us to excel in our careers, to excel in our day-to-day activities. And with this, I would open up the question and answers round for everyone. So in case if you have any questions, I would just request you to put into the comment box, and things forward. So that is one thing. And in case if you have a question, not now, at a later stage, I would just request you to visit our Safe Job community page. It's a wonderful platform. You can come and ask your questions, and accordingly, we have a lot of experts available on our portal to give answers to those questions in a rightly manner. So I wish you all the best, and I hope you enjoyed this session. If you enjoyed the session, you may share it with your friends, and would request you to come on safejob.in community page for further details. I wish you all the best for today. Be safe, and I look forward to having you look forward to having you on next webinars. Thank you.